more on how to measure attainment of course and program objectives. I request all the participants to make a note that towards the end of the session, we'll be posting a feedback form link in the Zoom chat box. I request you all to provide your valuable input. Without any further delay, I request Dr. Thomas to go ahead with the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Asiya Madam. And I think I would have the rights to, yeah. Yeah. So the screen is visible to each of you. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I would ask you to then and there stop me if you have any questions, if you have anything. Now, based on going through your PSOs and your COs, I have 3-4 observations that I make. Yeah. One is when you are writing either a CO or a PSO, make sure that when you are using the verb to begin with, don't qualify the verb. For example, they cannot effectively apply or systematically solve. Okay, so just start with the verb which says. Now, whether they are effectively, efficiently, this and all, we are concerned with whether they are, what is the behavior that they are able to do. So avoid using those verbs. Next, as I told you before, that when you are trying to write the PSO and the CO, make sure that your PSOs are a little broad in terms of the band and the spectrum that you have used. Thirdly, I still see that some of the things would, again, maybe at your IQAC or your any other committee that would look at, see, no one can say this is wrong because all that you write is right. Only thing is, maybe you all would want to internally look at how do you put, certain choice of levels or objectives. Like try and up the objectives is what I would say, the outcomes. In the Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy, try and get a representation because some of them I still feel are at that first 2 or 3 levels. Okay, so just try different matches, and maybe after today's you would be able to also understand why am I saying it, okay, and why it is needed or helpful. And after you start matching, I'm quite confident that you would be able to see that you may want to relook and revise. And this revision at the outset, I'm saying, it's not that once you have done it, that after 3 years you revise. It should revise, it could revise semester to semester, it could revise year to year. In fact, if you don't revise, it would be something that is worrisome as to why you are not revising them. Okay, so now today, therefore, what we are going to do. So today we are going to begin now again. I will quickly, in 2 minutes only, I will spend on this, the first part, that is summarizing the terms for the clarity's sake. Then we would see how we can prepare a grid for mapping. Mapping what? Either you want to map your program specific outcomes with your course outcomes, or you want to even map the program objectives with your course outcomes. The decision is yours because it is all related to one another. So you decide what you want to do. And maybe after I show you that and explain that, you will then realize why I'm saying this. 3, I would expect, and maybe midway somewhere, that you who have already submitted the question papers, etc., you would be able to identify and give me examples from how these course outcomes are related to your question paper. You keep your question paper open, either on your screens or in your hand or wherever you want to, but you should be able to pick up one particular, course outcome and say, look, I have able to identify this with the the kind of question that has been asked. Okay, and then finally, if hopefully we should be able to do an exercise, but I understand from the initial conversations that you all feel it would be difficult, so you could be doing it on your own. That should be fine. So this is what I have planned for today. Now, I directly begin. To hear from you. Let's revise. The first thing, how is a program objective different from a program outcome? Anyone can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. How is a program objective different from a program outcome? Yes? Who would answer? Anyone? Begin, and then probably you all would be able to, others can pitch in little by little. We are not going further. This first part is going to be built from based on what we taught, and you wrote also, no? All of you have written, so somebody can volunteer.
Ma'am, program objectives, like we could say something like what the program aspires to develop in the student, keeping in mind the vision and mission of the institution.
Okay, okay. Yes. Anybody else? Rightly said by Chitra madam. Anyone else?
So program objective is what we intend conveying to the student, and program outcome is what student is exactly able to do after completion of the program.
Okay, correct. Very right. Okay. Then I see that in the chat, objective is what you want and outcome is the result. Okay, well said. Okay, anything else? Some more. 2, 3 other vital points we still need, but very well said. Both Chitra madam, Zamanat madam, and Asiya madam. Next, what else is the difference? Therefore, what do we keep in mind while writing that? Okay, Dr. Sanchita. Objectives is instructor's purpose and outcome is the assignment of the assessment of the teaching. Very good, very well placed. Anybody else? How do we write it therefore differently? Dr. Juliet, objective is our verbs, outcomes are action verbs. Okay, good. Very good. Someone else? One more. One more difference. Okay, so because they are action verbs, what about that? Yes?
They are measurable.
Yes, what are measurable?
The outcome is to be measured.
Yes, very good. So outcome is to be measured, measurable in terms of student behavior. And that's why, as you all rightly said, it has action verbs. Yeah. And who said that? I think Ravindranath sir said that it is measurable and we measure it in terms of behavior, in terms of cognitive behavior, in terms of affective behavior and psychomotor behavior. Okay, so covering all 3 domains, we are talking of behavior. So very well said. So at least, okay, 3, 4 of you have put that very clearly down. And I guess now it will percolate to everybody. Now directly I am coming therefore to the grid. Okay. Now this is what a grid looks like. Now this I have taken from the book. Which one? The UGC document. on one hand, you have courses 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this number. So I would suggest these numbers which we are talking of, they are courses. For example, you tell me anybody's name, anybody can tell me as to in your particular course, program that you are taking, how many courses are there over 3 years? Renu madam or Deepika madam? Somebody can unmute and say, Radhika madam, Rita, in your program, how many courses are there?
In 3 years, it's 20, I think. 20.
Which course,
Yeah.
which program are you teaching?
If you take a science program, I think in the first year they have 7 courses, and 7 in second year and 6 in third year.
Okay. So this is also very clear from you all, that thank you so much that you know the difference between that program and course. And now you have these numbers, you can give numbers to the course, correct? There is no problem in giving numbers. Yeah. And it's not that these numbers have to be like, uncontested. So you number, first thing is in your course, in your program, start numbering the course. So that in your department, all of you teachers know that course 1 means which course. Okay, is that too difficult? Yeah? No.
No.
So in a department of physics or chemistry or microbiology, you all should now be able to refer to course number. And of course, the name also you will know, but I'm just saying that uniformly stick to that. Okay. Then on top, you have these outcomes. Now you all said, just now, I don't know if those of you who joined early would have heard that I asked Amanat madam what she would want to know, what would we look at it? And she said, let's look at the program specific outcomes mapping. Okay. So program specific outcomes will be number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 minute. Cursor, can you see moving?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now this is little technical, so stop me where you want to. Okay. So now I have seen some of you, you have put, for example, microbiology has put maybe 6 outcomes. Okay. Now these outcomes will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. And here will be your courses. Course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, course 5. Okay. Then I am showing you what we have done at our department. So I teach at the Master of Education program. Over 2 years, that means we have 4 semesters. In 4 semesters, we have 18 courses. 18 because we are counting now, for example, even research dissertation as 1 course. Okay, dissertation is counted as a course for us. We have counted internship as 1 course. We have counted like that. We have optional papers. In the second year, we have in 1 basket, we have 4 courses, and student chooses any 1 course from the first basket, and from the second basket, they choose 1 course. So like that, different programs, each of you have your different kinds of numbers. But remember one thing, even the optional paper has to be listed as a separate course. Is it okay? Yes? Any doubts here?
Ma'am, if the university offers 4 optional papers, so but our college has opted only for 1.
Then
So-
take only 2.
Okay, we will
Wherever
take only.
students have taken. That's a good point. Thank you, Dr. Juliet. So in a particular course, if nobody is there and university has offered, I have not numbered that course in this. If your college has taken only 2 out of the 4 and in a way making all of them do those 2, so number only those 2.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
May I
Anything
just
else?
end? Yeah. I just wanted to ask one. We are FY students. They have, for example, they have microbiology students. In first year, they have 3 combinations: microbiology, chemistry, let's say physics. And
Correct.
along with that, they have a foundation course.
Correct.
Now, in second year, they would leave one of the courses. I mean, 3 courses rather, that will be one subject they will leave. So now they will have, say, for example, micro and chemistry, 3 courses each.
Correct.
And then in TY, they will have, say, for example, 6 micro. Now, when we are preparing the PSO, this mapping for micro department, we are going to only include microbiology courses at all levels.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
foundation will be done by those teachers who are teaching foundation.
Okay, so they will do separately for
They will
foundation.
do
Yeah.
foundation.
Okay,
And the
thank you.
ones who are teaching language is there also, no? For arts, humanities, or you all don't have arts?
We have.
So like that, each one will do their own, but in the end, the college will have to bring that all together for the first year. Correct? But microbiology, for example, if you are doing a presentation of your course attainments, you do only for your paper. Okay?
Yeah. Okay,
Now
thank
look
you.
at this. Okay, anything else? Any other question? So this is clear now. So we have courses that we are listing down. We gave them all numbers. Okay, we would name number. I told you, even with regard to research or project work, if it is a separate heading, put it as a course because you got marks from there. Okay, and list this all down here over the year. Somewhere you all will all come together, the first year committee. Okay. Now the next one. Here on top, I have done my like PSOs which are related. Now you will understand why I am telling you to increase the spectrum and the bandwidth. Look at this. So I have a thing related to, now whether you want to do with PSO or you want to do with PO. Is it mine? Or somebody's mic or using devices? Okay, should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, continue, no? Vibha Bhagat, you are unmuted. Or you're muted, sorry. Sorry, Vibha, that's my fault. Yeah. So now look at this. You decide what that PSO is related to or what that PO is related to. For example, it is related to building the conceptual knowledge of. Then you put the word knowledge or PSO1, whatever. I put it down so that when mapping time, it becomes easier. When I know what it is about. So it's about knowledge. This is about the application of that knowledge of, for example, for us, it will be the application of the knowledge of education. This was related to research skills. This is related to problem solving. This is This was related to classroom instruction. Like we had an objective because we are from education that they should be able to gain, the knowledge, the understanding, the skill, or whatever the appreciation for how do you design classroom instructions. This for me was related to classroom environment. This was about being a change agent. This was about social problems. Okay, this was about professional ethics that they should display at the end, because it is a course on teacher education to be related to lifelong learning. Then what I did is, please note, if my CO1 contributes to this PSO or PO, whatever you choose to do, put a tick mark there. Okay, now our first course in our for us is Philosophical Foundations of Education. So this philosophy of education contributes to the knowledge base. So I put a tick mark. It contributes to the outcome of their ability to be able to apply the knowledge in day, because after teaching them about different philosophies and different ways of philosophers, schools of philosophy, etc., I am then expecting them to see the relevance of that philosophy to their day-to-day life. So it is helping me to, or it's contributing to that PO related to application. It does contribute to helping them, because based on the philosophy, we show them how the classroom, we design our lesson plans also. So it's helping here. So can you see it's contributing here? Now there will be certain courses may not contribute to all the POs or PSOs. Is it clear? Yes, do you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
some, yeah, but all of them mostly will contribute to this knowledge base. That's why last time I told you, all of you uniformly have one PSO and PO related to the knowledge domain of the subject that you are teaching. Because every course will contribute to the knowledge domain. Then it could vary. Clear? Then it could vary. So what I did is, after this, can you see down I have made one total? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
The total? How did I get
Yes.
total?
Number of ticks.
Adding up tick.
Yes. So number of courses adding or contributing to that particular PO or PSO. Okay? Similarly, for course number 1, sorry. Just give me a minute. Oh, I've gone further. Similarly, can you see CO1? That is course 1. Okay. How they have, how many places that they have got? That means for this particular course, how many COs do I have? How many COs do I have for course 1? Can you tell me?
6.
Correct. Yeah. So you have 6. Similarly, course 2, you would have this. Course 3 will have that many. Till here it is clear. Any questions in the mapping?
Is there a list of these program specific learning outcomes from where you take these things out?
And last time I told you, you took it, your base would be from that booklet, that UGC and that graduate attributes.
Okay.
And you all have written also, I think. I've seen many of you have written. Now, for example, permit me to stop share, and I would take an example from what you have shown me, you all have given me. Yeah. I can share one of them if you all don't mind. You don't mind, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now look at this. You have written with regard to management studies. Your CEOs are, they are able to frame business policies, they define vision. This is for the semester. This is one particular course, correct? Strategic management is a course. Am I right? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Are you sharing the screen because we can't see that?
You can't see that. Okay, I think because from one, so I'll need to stop and redo because I've changed from PPT to. Good. Now can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is one particular course. In this course, you have these. And it's correct, like they are able to frame, define. Now here you would have to correct, they probably are able to do a SWOT analysis, correct? Yeah, then they are able to, now effectively you remove, they are able to apply. So you will change. Now you have one applied, use another word here. Then they are able to perform an industry analysis. They are able to effectively word you remove, again apply. So these three applies, out of that keep one apply and change to the other domain. Okay, then they are able to evaluate. Now look at this, what you have written on top. To develop knowledge base through conceptual learning of mode of interaction, presentations, etc. Okay, conceptual base through mode of interactions, or to develop a knowledge base of the subject or the discipline of management and business studies. Supposing it's about a knowledge base of business, of business studies, then you can map this. When they are able to define, it is related to developing that knowledge base. When they are able to, you're talking about building managerial personality. So when they are able to, when they are, now look at this, what will you find? All our application here, but maybe the ability to be able to frame a policy could come under your business personality. I don't know, correct me, management people who are sitting here.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
Correct? So
Yes.
like that, but now you see, you may want to consider changing some of the COs. Agreed?
Yes,
When it
ma'am.
comes to mapping. Because you would have to show this being actualized in somewhere or the other. But remember, also remember one thing, that all individual papers may not actualize all the objectives, but outcomes it should actualize. Did you get the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So like that, you will pick up each one of them and you will start mapping. This is how this mapping is done. Done?
Ma'am, can
Any
you repeat
question?
once again, please?
Who's that? Who's asked?
Sanchita, yeah, ma'am. Sanchita.
Okay, Sachita. Yeah. Now, what do I repeat? Okay. So I'm saying you have one particular course and I shared with you, and tell me if you can see it again. I'll try and go there. Could you see this?
Yes, ma'am, I can see the course objectives.
Okay. So each of these course objectives has to be mapped with your outcome. Each of the outcome has to be mapped with the objective. Now, if they are able to frame or define or apply, or they are able to state, etc., these are nothing but knowledge base. If they are able to explain, conceptualize, these are knowledge based things. Correct? Now that will therefore contribute to an outcome which you have planned here. That is, you want to develop a strong knowledge base of conceptual understanding of the discipline of business and management studies through an interactive mode. But you are building the knowledge base of that discipline. Therefore, you will tick this CO2 against that on top where you had the POs written or PSOs written, you will tick it under knowledge base.
Knowledge. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
They frame business policies that will be an indication of not only the knowledge, it could be also an indication of knowledge, plus it could be an indication of what? It could
Application.
be, yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what, so I would suggest who's IQ? Zamanat madam is IQAC coordinator, right?
No, madam, not coordinator, member.
Member. Okay, so what you do first is har course ka mapping karo. Okay.
Yeah.
Every course that individual teacher will do because she's teaching. Do you all share courses?
Yes, we do.
Then two teachers together do for one course with POs, program specific outcomes.
Okay.
Okay. Then when all that is ready, then master sheet banao.
Okay.
And then put this as individual courses, CO1, CO2, CO3.
All right.
Okay. And this will be that master sheet. Then you
Yes.
count here, therefore knowledge base is being built by so many courses. Research skills are built by 6 courses out of 18 courses. 6 courses contribute directly to this. Okay. Then with regard to professional ethics, 12 courses contribute to that ethics. Values, I saw some of you have. So if you want on top is values. Values can come through a course in molecular biology. Values can come also through a course in cell biology, whatever, I'm just naming like that. But different courses will contribute to values. Yeah. So like that, you total how many courses contribute to each of these PSOs. Then on this side, what I have done is I have weightage given to each course. Now, after this, that means 6 courses, 6 COs, course outcomes contribute to, okay, this 6 course outcomes are there, correct?
Ma'am, can I interrupt you? We cannot see your screen. We are now seeing what was shared with respect to the course
because I have
outcomes.
moved from this again to PowerPoint. Thank you for telling this happens. Now you can see back the PowerPoint.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now look at this. How did I get this medium? How did I get high? How do I get this? Look what we did. This is given in the UGC manual. I'm going back here. Indicates the range of contribution of this course with a specific CLO. If it is 30%, up to 30%, it is low. If it's above 30%, it becomes medium, and then you have high. So what I did here is, therefore, CLO1, course 1 contributes medium. This should be actually low, the 4. Then high, why? Because 9 out of 18, so 9 divided by 18 multiplied by 100. Okay, 12 divided by 18 multiplied by 100. Clear?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah?
madam. Yes.
Okay. So this is called as mapping. Now that we have mapped, I'm now going to see the next part of it that I'm taking you to. That is the attainment calculation. You all are already doing it, I understand. There are 2 sources that feed into the attainment. One is the direct source and the other one is the indirect assessment. Direct source is your marks, semester end marks. For first year and second year, you have all 100 marks, correct, theory?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Who sets the paper for first year?
In some cases, it will be 75-20.
75. Wherever there are internals, it's 75.
Yeah.
Okay. And who sets the question paper in first year and second year? College level exam, no?
College level.
Now, therefore, no NAC team will permit you to say, "मैं क्या करूं? Marks नहीं है." There is where the challenge lies with you to step up your game. Okay. Now, if it is not done, you will find a way of doing it. Don't worry. But see, here is now where you will be accountable because you are doing it or you are doing in a cluster or whatever. But that SEM end examination marks are your direct assessment. Clear? So now I will do direct assessment and then I will come to indirect assessment. Can I proceed? Any questions till here?
Yes,
Any
please,
question?
madam. No question.
Okay, now look at this. This is by direct assessment. Direct assessment can be from these ways. That is end semester examination. If you have, now I heard somebody said where there is internal, I think most of your self-financing courses and all are having this 75-25 or 60-40 or something like that, where there is internal, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
If it is all 100 marks, then no problem. So some is, you're taking this 100 marks. But where you are having 60-40, I'm giving example, then it would be that assessment of the CLO at the end of semester 1. Assessment of the CLO from the 40 marks, that is your internal. And if you are having internal assessment like unit test and all, use that also as the feed for direct assessment. But now remember, yaad hai, there was a zamana where if our students का 100% result मिला तो हम लोग इतना खुश थे कि हम लोग अपने डिपार्टमेंट में celebrate 0 failure and we were very happy. Now look what they are saying for the calculation. They are saying minimum 60% and above, only those students are considered to have scored 60% and above. So while calculating my course attainment, I take only the number of students who have scored 60% and above. So if your exam was out of 60 marks, 60% of 60 is how many students have scored 24 marks and above, correct? Somebody good in maths, commerce teachers? Yes?
36, no, ma'am?
30, yeah, 36.
Very, okay. 36 and above. Okay. That means those who have scored 36 and below are not contributing to any attainment. If it is out of 40, then can I take 24? Or how much should I take out of 40?
24.
24. So year 36, year 24. Okay. That means only 60% marks in a question indicates is equal to understood the unit. और आपके बाकी के बच्चे सब गल गए. They are taken off from this trainer. Now come to the formula. So, if my course is in philosophy of education or physical chemistry, my number of students are supposing 100. How many students have scored 60% and above? Out of my class of 100, that is 88% of students. For now this, look at it. I am now going to individual CLOs. That's why I thought Vivian ma'am's session was crucial for you. So CLO 1 was related to define, to knowledge. CLO 2 was related to understanding. CLO 3 was related to evaluation. CLO 4 was related to problem solving and creation. CLO 5 was related to this. So how many students in question number 1, which was related to maybe problem solving, has got 60% and above? How many students in question number 2 have got, which is related to knowledge of define or state or explain, have got 60% and above? I will put those percentages and put an average of that. And that is my course attainment of my course of philosophy of education. So I am making one assumption, and be clear of this assumption. Your question paper represents kinds of questions related to different domains. And each question that you have set is related in some way or the other to your what?
Learning
Outcomes.
outcome.
Therefore, I am able to say CLO1, how did I get that? Based on student mark. CLO2 was fulfilled based on their mark. CLO3 was fulfilled based on their mark because my questions are based on my outcomes that I have done of the course, and my course outcomes are related to what? Program outcomes. Did you see that relation? Once I mapped, now I am safe to say that each of my questions, therefore, I asked in the exam, or I did certain kinds of activities in internal, or I did my unit test, all have contributed to that overall program specific outcome because they are linked. तो पहला link बनाओ, फिर मैं खाली question उठा के calculation कर सकती. Is it clear? Any questions?
Clear, but madam, clear, but
करवा सकते हैं.
little perplexed. Now, supposing we have a question, there's a particular question, and in that question, there are 6 options given. And maybe 2 options are analyzed. One is differentiate, one is just based on knowledge. So we will have to pick up each type separately
So
and
that's why,
categorize them.
perfectly said, we also never did it. But when we were doing mapping before NAC at Mumbai University, we realized this learning. That means option may be same type ka option de do.
Okay.
मतलब difficulty level. Yeah, compare either de raha hai, so it is related to the second domain of understanding. So give choice between 2, though units are different, but level of the domain should be the same. Now, for NAC purposes, if you're doing on the hindsight, then you decide how you want to take each question where. Okay, because it's now doing on hindsight. होने के बाद हम लोग अभी backward.
Yeah.
Then you see what suits you best. We've also done that.
Yes.
Okay. But आइंदा now जो होने वाला exam, NAC team आने के पहले वाला exam, internal जो है, it is, I'm sorry, your exams that you have in your hand is in your hand. That how you are giving. So if you are giving distinguish one place, you can't have next level also distinguish, but you can probably, since distinguish is from the understanding domain, you can do probably another question also with regard to explanation, which is from the domain of understanding.
Yes. Okay.
Clear? Okay.
Yes. Thank
Ma'am,
you.
could I interrupt?
Yes,
what I understood was that our question paper should first and foremost cover all the 6 domains.
Yeah.
And we are not taking a weighted average.
We are
could
doing
have
it next.
more
Now
questions
later.
out of understanding. We could have fewer out of this, but we are not taking a weighted average.
No, but I'll show you later. They have given specific weights to be applied later in the formula.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Next, can we go? So did you understand, Baba, everybody? Sorry, sometime I may talk as I'm talking in a class, but is it clear? Can we go on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So now this, I'm giving you an example of mine. Okay. That they are able to appreciate the role of philosophy. And how will they be able to appreciate? I will ask them, you look for a question there. Okay, when I show you the question, explain, critically evaluate, compare, analyze, evolve. So now you saw how to write the course outcome. So it makes me easy for me now to set the question paper. Clear? Yes or no? From this only, I am able to now know question paper setting now will become easy once I have such kind of course outcomes. Correct? And for your own reference as teachers, individual teacher, this is not the IQAC's for, is prepare now. Each time you wrote your course outcome, now appreciation and all units contribute to it, but also it comes from unit number. Weightage more will come from unit 3, 5, and 6. Now, this explain basic concepts related to education and democratic values. For me, it may come from, I will look for it more in unit 1 and unit 2. Like that, andaz lagao in your mind and put that down somewhere, so that your now teaching is focused. Yes. Somebody asked me, ma'am. No. See, I know some chats are coming. Somebody read them for me, because, or interrupt me if there's any question, because I'm finding it difficult to switch side by side. Okay. So if there's any question you all feel I should stop now, you tell me if it's in the chat. Okay. Clear now to you all? Course outcomes. This is what my module, this is what my syllabus looks. Okay. So now I have my outcomes on one side. I have my syllabus on the other side. Look that every unit, how many units are there? 6 units. Do you see all 6 units somewhere or the other here? On the left-hand side, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So you also make sure that every time no unit is left in your outcome writing. So far, I've only taught you mechanics of writing, but representation, and now you will be wanting to revise all this. Okay, so one side ye rakho, one side ye rakho, dekho ki every course unit is represented somewhere. It is not that unit number 4 cannot come in unit number this outcome, but just for convenience sake, which is greater logic there, a contribution there. Okay, now we'll go next. Till here we have all understood. I'm moving. Yes?
Yes.
Then take your question paper. And don't feel discouraged. Believe me, we did it also afterwards for some years. We had a question paper and then we started looking. Because outcome based came in 2018, the document was published. So if you want 18, 19, say shuru karo if you want. Or you, whatever year you want to show, you show. Okay. But at least 1 or 2 years now it is in the field. So you will have to know at least these things. Now look at this. The first question. Discuss the concept of Vidya, Nyan and Darshan as ancient Indian perspectives of education, or discuss ancient Greek perspective of education for wisdom and bring out the implications for teaching and learning today. That's why I said try and do these ors now of the same type. Okay, then here, can you see this? You should be able to identify, do nothing but 3-4 question papers, identify and keep ready in the background. Okay, once you have got a hang and you will be confident that, see, it will cover most, some things will come out of your old question papers. Unknowingly also you have done it. Okay, and keep these backward things ready. Now, so this is with regard to the direct assessment, what all I have to do in terms of keeping them all ready. Now I'm coming to indirect. Indirect, you may have student feedback at the end of the semester. From this semester and even if possible last semester. Don't wait for the year to be over. Har course ka feedback le lo. If you are teaching analytical chemistry after the semester is over, develop a feedback rating scale for analytical chemistry for the student. If you are teaching the subject of maybe foundation course after that semester, then and there keep a feedback form ready. Because I teach philosophy, but you decide what you want to teach. Now you want to give a scientific temper score, a tool, you know, You want to use some other tool, you know, maybe an achievement test, which you use for them at the beginning before your remedial class starts. You must be having all these ideas in your IQAC, right? Like, how do you show remedial has taken place based on giving them a questionnaire in the beginning? So it could be a tool of assessment. You may have artifacts. For example, they created a project. In botany, they did a herbarium. They did probably, they look after the aquarium of your college. They have given you an internship report. These are called artifacts. They have written an reflective diary when they went for community engagement, when they went for NSS. Now scratch your head, all you IQAC people, and think which document, even if it is an NSS report, can that NSS report not contribute to your botany paper or to your microbiology? Find out. How does that excursion tour you took them to Agra contribute? Any diary they've written or nahi likha, to har baar likhwao. Take such evidences. These are called as artifact contributions. Indirect ways. You have your college festival. Your college festival, also see if any of the program they did contributed to your communication skill objective that you had in some paper. Or udhar feedback de do. Now this is what you brainstorm at the college IQAC level and find out. But I'm just giving you a few ideas. But these all will come under indirect assessment. Okay? Can you see these all came under indirect assessment? Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. And my question is, like, if I am trying to use an NSS report, it is only a limited number of students who would have participated in that activity. Can I use it as a tool for the rest of the class?
I don't now. No. So my question to you, I don't know your policy in IQAC, but see, some of the colleges that I go to, part of from, some do NSS, some will do nature club. But do you make sure that students join some club or the other?
Ma'am, we are not.
I don't know.
No, we have not done anything.
So then do it
we have
next time.
monitored it.
But I'm giving you ideas to brainstorm. Okay. Now, if you don't have, you may take only your full feedback. But if you have not done that feedback, then I'm thinking that if you have planned and done certain things, like I don't know, different colleges have different, but a college maybe like Xavier's, as a part of Samaya College of Science and Commerce, they also make sure that they at the beginning itself tell them that some or the other club of the college you should join. Okay, so you take something from what they have done. Now you brainstorm where, but if you have taken only 10 students out of 50, then you cannot use 10 students' work to represent 50. Yeah, but think of ways in which you can do it. If you cannot do it, do leave it. But now, beginning of the academic year, at least brainstorm what you all can do. If not now, when you all go to autonomy and all, you all will need all these as some of your best practices to encourage. University may not make it compulsory, but you do it for not compulsory. You say you encourage them. And on your mentor scheme, you must be having mentors and things like that in your quality initiatives. There you make sure that you almost push them to do it somewhere or the other. Okay, so that it contributes to the indirect assessment tool. Now, as a teacher, for example, if you're Dr. Juliet, if you're a teacher in, let's take microbiology or take botany or zoology. It is not a part of botany or zoology if it's 100-mark college exam, but still written exam, but still you have got them to do some project, or you have got all of them to participate in something. Then you take that as indirect. Each teacher has their own innovative, some USP that they do with their children other than only teaching theory. So you take that. Okay, can we move, Abba?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, look at this down. Attainment of each course is calculated by direct attainment and indirect attainment. But the weightage they give to direct attainment is 0.7. And the weightage given to indirect attainment is 0.3. Now, you and I also will know that usually we will score higher in the student feedback rather in the student marks. Yes? They may rate us higher in the feedback than in the marks. Okay? Some of us may not have any way of indirect. So taking all those into consideration, they say only 0.3% goes to, that is actually 30% goes to indirect and 70% goes to direct. But don't leave the indirect blank for the next year. Because even 1% helps. Huh? I'm telling you that 60% is not easy to get that number. So is this formula now not difficult, correct? How many percent of direct? So if my 88% of students have scored in course 1, okay, they have all course 1, I'm assuming it is all CLOs represented in the examination, and only 80% of them have scored 60% and above. It will be 0.70 into 0.7 into 80. Did you see it here, Baba? Everyone saw? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Direct feedback, they are saying not 60, 5.5 rating and above. 5.5 rating and above will do. So how many, if you have all 100 marks, very easy. Okay, so 0.7 multiplied by how many students have got 60% and above in the paper physical chemistry. How many have got 60% and above in the paper foundation course? 0.7 multiplied by that. Plus, if you do not have 0.3 anything, then leave it out and take only this. If you have student feedback, then do 0.3 into the number of students, the percentage of students who have rated you 5.5 and above on a rating scale of 10. If it is a rating scale of 5, then it will be again accordingly calculate how many of them have rated you 2.5 and above. That means 3 and above almost. Take a percentage of students who have rated you that and above and add that 0.3 multiply by that and add this. Any questions? Can we proceed? Yes.
But just explain that factor once again. How do you get this 0.7?
0.7 is a standard thing that they have given. That's the part of the formula of calculation according to UGC. So in a way, it is 70% weightage given to direct assessment. So I will take 0.7 multiplied by number of students who have scored 60% and above in a paper, for example, physical chemistry. In the paper, drugs and dyes. In the paper, foundation course 1. Plus 0.3 multiplied by the percentage of students who have scored or who have rated me 3 and above in a rating scale of 5. In a rating scale of 10, it is 5 and above, whoever have rated me. I will take the percentage of students. Supposing in my class there were 100 students and I took a rating scale student feedback of 100 students and only 50% of them have rated me 5.5 and above, I will take that number of students and convert that into percentage. Number of students upon 100 students, multiply by 100 and get that figure and put over here. Is it clear now? What do I understand? Why the silence?
Yes.
Madam, this if there is a subject like say mathematics, in usually at least in our college, the number of students who get 60% and above will not be too much.
Yeah, agreed.
Is there something like degree of difficulty of every subject?
No. So they have given it for everyone. And then they will tell you, okay, if they have not scored, so then Baba, then show us what is your, what is that, remedial? Show us where are your extra coachings. Show us where your this, what have you done for the lower achievers? That is a problem. So these are some challenges. But now they are telling one way of measurement irrespective of art, science, humanities, management. That is a disadvantage. This is a challenge that we will even see with regard to type of learners. Correct? So that means to say in every class, we will have diverse learners and some may not perform only in the final exam. But if we have only cement examination, we're taking that one as an indicator of what we as teachers have struggled throughout the semester. So this is what they call as accountability. That you have to be accountable for that. And therefore, teacher has to be result oriented and result driven. I'm not subscribing to that. I am just telling you that these are some, definitely I agree with you, these are challenges. But we will have to find a way now. We can't change this formula, but I don't know what. So these are some of, therefore, challenges that many people have written in response to, you know, outcome based, etc. And quantifying. The moment you quantify, this will be a challenge. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Can we proceed now? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now, supposing you have 75-25. What did you all say? Some of your course has 75-25?
Yes.
Which course is that?
Finance, even included FC foundation course.
Has 75.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at this. Therefore, now we are going to use standard weights. Okay. So, if you have this pattern of 75-25, this and total is out of 100 or 150? 100? Yes. Self-financing courses out of 100?
Yes, ma'am, it is out
Yes,
of
ma'am.
100.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and supposing now I'm giving you an example of a science subject which has internal, external, and also which has practical. Okay, because practical also through that we are going to take it as they are assess that as contributing. So if it is 80-20 combination and practical is out of 50, therefore total number of marks for that paper in botany or zoology or microbiology is 150 marks. So my denominator will be out of the total marks, that is 150. Now, if it is out of 80, it will be 80 out of 150. If you are using 60-40 pattern, it will be 60 out of 150. If you are using 75 out of 25 pattern, but out of 150, because of 50 marks from practical, then you will use 75 upon 150 plus 25 upon 150 plus, if you have practical, then you will take practical is out of 50, so 50 out of 150. But I understand in your self-financing courses, you don't have practicals, correct? Yes. So you will therefore, you have practicals. Okay. So that is out of how many marks?
50 marks
That
per
50
course.
per course is other than that 100 marks?
Yeah, ma'am. 100.
Okay, correct. Then do 75 out of 150 plus 25 out of 150 plus 50 out of 150. These are the weights you will use. Multiplied by, can you see my cursor here? Yes or no? One of you answer. Can you see it moving?
Yes.
Yes.
So out of 75 marks paper, how many students have scored, the percentage of students who have scored 60 and above? Out of 20 marks, 25 marks paper, how many have scored this? You will multiply. And in the practicals, how many of them have? Now, as you rightly see, practicals, they get higher. Okay. So this is for the pattern of 75, 25 plus 50 marks practical. If it is only out of 100 and there is no internal and no external, all sem and marks, then just follow that 0.7 multiplied by percentage of students. If there is no practical, then you use 70, and if it is 75 out of 75, 25 out of 100 and no practical, then denominator doesn't become 150, denominator becomes 100. So 75 upon 100 into percentage of students who have got 60% and above out of 75 plus 25 upon 100 into percentage of students who have got 60% and above out of 25. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So now do one experiment, all you teachers individually. See, I don't subscribe to this philosophy, but now that it is ours, we have to do. But I'll tell you, if you do for your unit test or your one exam, it gives you also a kick and motivation to move on and to ensure that your students reach. It tells you also, so now I eagerly wait for the result and then I first think, put and check where they have done. Now it's not compulsory, but it tells you also about where you are and what you need to do. Is this clear to you all now? All different possibilities I explained. 3 formulas you have to keep in mind. One is the weights. Direct is 0.7 plus 0.3. 0.7 D plus 0.3 I. Next, you have to keep in mind, what is the format of your examination for direct assessment? If it is out of 100, then you check whether it is in 100. If you do not have any external marks or practicals, then directly simply put percentage of students multiply by 0.7. And the third option is that you would have to, if you have this practical or you have this 75-25, then you need to know this form. So 3 different cases. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So look at this, an example. If you had feedback and all these things, then your direct will be 71 plus indirect. So course attainment is 0.7D plus 0.3D. Bas? But for doing this, you need that background. See, when NAC came to us, Baba, they asked us, show how you assumed that your CLO attainment is based on the marks. Then we showed the map. Then we showed the question paper. So that background thing has to be done. This, once you reach this stage, then even college can, whatever your results, whoever the software guy can, with the results, he can tell you also number of students who get 60% and above, he can give each course, he can give number of students also to you. And you substitute in the formula. If you are more high tech, then feed this formula in an Excel sheet and prepare it, and each department put that. So all don't have to do. But even if you get number of students who are giving 60% and above, you are quite capable of doing this simple math. Okay, so this is how you calculate the attainment. Okay, now I'll just show you, I won't show you all these examples, this much you keep in mind. I just want to show you how we did year-wise. Remember I showed you that big map we pre-created? Yes, you remember for that course, 18 courses wala map I showed you?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I showed you how we calculated also that high, medium and all that. Then we did this formula of direct, indirect attainment. Okay. And then we did how much the total, and this is at the last step. That won't be your individual student, but you will be, if you want to, you can even show each year how your college has attained the PSOs in a graph. Now that is last. But this is, the sky is the limit once you get this. The sky is the limit. You can explore different ways of showing. Each department can showcase. The college can overall showcase. When you talk about the values of NEP and pick up those values, you can see which courses contributed. Remember, there was one thing on value, and that attainment itself alone you can calculate. So then once you get that map and you get this formula, then you will be able to show any value, even quantitative. So this is how we showed our performance. And later, when you go to autonomy, you would be expected to even prepare your syllabi based on writing clearly objectives, outcomes, course outcomes. Prepare, go to Somaya College of Science and Commerce website. There are 2-3 colleges there, but Science and College, where Principal Pratnya Prabhu is the principal. See how their syllabi is written with the map, etc., for students who want to take admission in that, because now it's autonomous. No? And they have prepared their syllabi for each program based on outcome based. And don't think it's too much work. It's simply 3 formulas. 3. But you make sure that question paper, outcome. These 2, if you have mastered, the rest can be done and at a larger level by someone else also. But these 2, every teacher is responsible till the mapping stage. Okay, with this, I don't know, Vivian ma'am has joined. Vivian ma'am joined. Yeah, ma'am is there. Question and answers. We are now, the time is open. Yeah, so welcome. Vivian ma'am is also there with us. Any questions? Anything that you would want to clarify? Any difficulties or challenges? She is more experienced as a vice principal and hands-on with all these things. So she was, so you can also talk about science, arts, what are your challenges that you face? How do you plan to go about, etc. To any of.
May I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is related to calculation of attainment itself. Now, for conventional courses, we have only semester end exams. But we do conduct tests, internal test that is not formally taken, but almost every teacher takes at some time during when a unit is completed. So can that be included in some way in calculation?
Indirect?
Indirect, yes.
Well, Vivian ma'am, correct, no? Indirect we can put it, right? So those are indicator tests, right? For how they are growing in understanding, knowledge, etc.
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Okay.
They asked me, Vivian ma'am, that they informally take some tests and all in the classroom.
So I think that in the indirect, no, maybe they.
In the direct, they'll add it on to that cement marks. But supposing all have not given, then. Yeah, ma'am, tell me, what do you think?
To be indirect, you can't hear?
Now I can hear, yeah. Only me, or you all can also not hear? Or is it my problem?
Yeah, we cannot hear. She's not audible.
I think ma'am's an internet problem, I think frozen. Ma'am, now we can see you move.
Hello.
Vivian ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll join through.
Because that could be, see, this flexible where to you, ma'am, have a suggestion to us also where we could that. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. There's a lag, I think. No, we can't hear. Okay, meanwhile, others also keep the questions ready if you all can put it on the chat. Samanat madam, is that what you had in mind for today's session?
Yes, exactly the same, madam.
Vivian,
and thank you so much for being so lucid in your explanation.
Yeah. Ma'am has joined.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
No. Let me leave this meeting. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, no, so I was saying it would be indirect, but even within that indirect, you would have to give a certain percentage. Some percentage for the feedback that they have, and some percentage for these informal tests.
And even direct, can you suggest how, ma'am? Because that will be also helpful. If we should we add then?
No, I don't think they could add in direct because it is not part of the formal system. These are informal tests.
Yeah.
So an informal test will vary across the entire college from teacher to teacher.
Correct.
So it would come in the indirect, and there too, I would think it would be a 30% of the indirect.
Or take all, or should we take plus of all the indirect and multiply that by 30%?
No. So no, within that indirect, it should be 30% of the indirect. 70% should be for the feedback. Because it is a informal mechanism that would vary so much across the board.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Well taken. Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Vivian ma'am, any closing suggestions if there are no questions? Feedback from also be in alignment of COs. Yes. The chat, I think that says feedback form should be in alignment, definitely. Yeah. So that's why I think Vivian ma'am would have also shown, every assessment, even a feedback is an assessment. It has to be in alignment with what you want to assess. So if you want to assess the course outcome or contribute to the course outcome, then ask questions related. Did they feel, a sense because of this more empowered for their internship works, or whether it helped them in, some self-development other than conceptual. So you think of your outcomes and write. Correct, Vivian ma'am?
Yes, yes, it would be in terms of their program and course outcomes actually. Okay.
How,
Any more questions are there?
yes, I just wanted to ask about attainment of POs. Some of the POs like values, leadership quality, discipline, how do we measure the attainment of this?
So this is easier when you have these project work, 40%, you have your presentations, group presentations, etc. Now, I'm not sure Vivian could correct now, even though you have cement 100% outside, as teachers, do you not give them certain kinds of, topics or activities for debate? You could probably have a group discussion. You could have a project work done from them. You could have an analysis of newspaper articles and then come to the point of the content that you are actually teaching. So you try to include things like that, which will contribute. Therefore, in each paper, you would give them opportunities to present their thoughts, to communicate, to show leadership skills and teamwork. Plus, it is through your college festivals, through your co-curricular activities. Therefore, I say that in some of the colleges, they make sure that students are a part of some club or the other. Students take part in the festival in some way or the other, and then you give them feedback, on maybe you may have, what do you say? A botany, even in botany or zoology, you have your own science clubs, So there again, there would be some activity. So use those rating scales, rubrics that you are using, like I'm making, in order to put that as attainment over here. Over to Dr. Vivian for that. Next.
No, from what you are saying, Professor Sybil, my suggestion would be, see, since they're in a non-autonomous college, I don't know if you've gone over this point, but they have everything given by the university. However, not just because of NEP, but also because of quality education, now you're having an outcome-based education where you are formulating certain program outcomes and course outcomes. However, unlike autonomous colleges, they can't directly relate it to their assessments because ultimately, let's say in TY, they are getting it directly from the university, the question paper. So they will have to sit down now, just as they've designed their program and course outcomes, to consider what kind of activities can each course have that will help them attain the course outcome. Over and above that end semester that is coming from the university. That will be one of their best practices. Maybe the best practice of the college is to attain quality course outcomes through assessments, other than the end semester exam paper, which is coming through the university. So that will have to be done at the college level within each department.
Yeah.
That's for everything, discipline, everything. They would have to do something like that.
Values and all that, no?
Yes, everything. So whatever they put into their course outcomes, whatever cannot be assessed through that end semester paper, they would have to think what kind of activities they could run in the department and have assessments that would reflect the attainment of those course outcomes.
For instance, we have in the second year, yoga is compulsory for all the students. So that can be used, isn't it?
Yes, that could be used in your program outcomes, definitely.
But there's like even for that yoga and all, I would even suggest rather than an exam or something, even if they write some reflective diary or some other creative forms of assessment. No?
Yeah,
Vivian?
they can. Yes, they can do that, or even means also observation of the teacher would be part of the.
Yeah.
We have these clubs and associations, but the activities normally are not, we don't make it compulsory for all the students to participate. So it just means that we need to have one activity where all of them participate, something like that.
Vivian, I would not subscribe to one activity for all and then make it compulsory, but I would say have varied and based on their interests and all that they would, but make sure they do things other than SEM end exams. Vivian, how do you all manage in Xavier's? Because I see that all of them, the students are involved in something or the other.
Yeah, but with us it's easier because we're an autonomous college and we have 2 credits for extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
So we actually have an extracurricular activity committee that looks into how many hours they have spent, and they're actually as many hours they're given credit for that, and then they get their 2 credits, and they cannot get their final certificate unless they have got those 2 credits. We have withheld the final certificate if they've not, especially in the first 1 or 2 years. Students thought they could get away with it. They didn't think we would be that strict, but we withheld. Now everyone does it.
So the lesson is the motivation is to go for autonomy.
No, I don't know about that, but yeah, they would have to have a system for this extracurricular, and also through the co-curricular also you could look into, it could be co-curricular or an extracurricular. They could.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is it that we can only include marks and feedback for measuring the attainment? Can it be some student getting some prize or students participating in intercollegiate events, and they do submit certificates? So can we include that component somehow in measurement?
No, I don't see where we could include if they have got prize outside or so, because see, that will be only maybe less than 5% of the total strength of the classroom, right?
Maybe around little more than that, especially with 10, science students. Yeah.
Then how do you then fit it into this 60% or 5.5% and above? No?
Okay. No, but that I feel I don't know. That also
is it possible to give them some extra points? I mean, whatever their score, supposing their scores are 55 or whatever, how they get a sports score for, earlier this you get a sports score for the HSC. So can we think of giving a few extra points? Whatever their score is, give them a few extra points for this exemplary performance.
Yeah, but that point will be where only for your calculation of outcome, no?
Yes, ma'am. Only for calculation of outcome.
Okay.
I mean, the student per se doesn't get any personal benefit.
They don't know also about this.
No, right? No. Except that we commend them for whatever they have done, but it wouldn't actually help their cause.
Ryan, I don't know, Vivian, how do you do that? Because how do you justify that?
Not also, it has to match an outcome.
Yeah.
No? It has to match an outcome. Now, are you talking about program outcomes? Because course outcomes, it would not fit in.
For example, if they have participated in a research project presentation related to microbiology and have won also.
Okay. So, what you would have to do is in your indirect. This cannot come in direct because that would, in indirect, you all could say that 30% is for all these, and then you will have to list out. So that's why I said per department, you would have to list out what would come in that 30% for you to measure that 30% of indirect assessment.
Okay. So
that's a good.
And where does it link with? What does it link? Which program outcome?
Yes.
Or what it links with?
Yeah. So then, Vivian, that makes sense what Dr. Juliet said. So there, if you want, you give point, but bring it under the indirect.
Yes. And you'd have to show the relationship. So, but that will have to be worked out. It can't be arbitrary. That would have to be worked out for every department and a policy at the college level.
Yeah. Yes. But that's new learning. Thanks, all of you. Dr. Juliet, Zamanat, and Vivian ma'am, I got some new learning. That how probably we could bring that there, and then how at the department first think of pool of activities that can be considered for directly, correct? And give points. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so there's nothing, then over to you all.
Hello.
Yeah.
If there are no more questions, before I offer a formal vote of thanks, I have posted the feedback link in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form so that you can receive the certificate. In case you will not receive the certificate, kindly put the message in WhatsApp group. Okay. On behalf of Academic Improvement Committee and IQAC Royal College, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Sybil Thomas and Dr. Vivian Amunkar for their informative and engaging session on the topic outcome-based education. I'm sure today's session will help our colleagues to write POs and COs in a more simplified ways. I also thank all the participants for actively participating in the workshop. I thank our management for providing us the opportunity to conduct such valuable event. I thank all the members of organizing committee. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all, and thank you,
Vivian,
Dr.
ma'am.
Vivian. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Chitra. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, madam.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.